Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome if you are new and welcome back if you're a returning viewer to my channel. It's great to have you. Hope you're hanging in there okay. It is very cold in Seattle. It's been very cold for the past couple of days. We had some snow last night, but it's very sunny and lovely. So try to make the most of it. Yeah, my name is Anna. I live in Seattle and I mostly talk about knitting on my channel here. Occasionally some sewing, but mostly knitting. And today I'm going to talk to you about my knitting progress in February. So I'll talk to you about things I finished up, things I've been working on, and then a couple new things that I have purchased to add to my too large stash of yarn. So that's really it. So I guess I'll just walk you through what I've got. First, finished object is what I'm wearing. This is my Moonset pullover by Ozetta. It is knit in a single strand of a finish yarn, which has a name I do not know how to say, but I will put here that I have over dyed. So it was originally kind of like a greeny yellow, more of a yellowy green, I guess. And then I over dyed it to get more of a mossy green, and I held it with one strand of Drops Kid Silk Mohair in the color 19, which I believe is called dark green. And I got this fabric, which I will show you. So I love the fabric. It's got lots of dimensionality from the colors and the different strands, the silk, the mohair, and then the wool kind of all play together to make a really lovely fabric. And I'm really happy with the finished object. I do have a project vlog of this video, so if you're interested in seeing the process of knitting this, that was my most recent video that I shared, and I will link it in the cards and also down below, so you can click over to that if you're interested. But I really enjoyed the process of knitting this. I knit this in a size large, which gave me a little bit more positive ease than is recommended. I would normally in Ozetta's patterns knit a medium, but I knit a large because I wanted a little more positive ease. And I do like it. I think I may have liked it a little bit more if I'd gone for the medium, which is the recommended size for me. But overall, I really like it. It's very cozy, very great for working from home. I like the I-cord finishes on the arms. I really like the V-neck. It's a good depth. And overall, it's just really super comfortable. Great for working from home. And I feel like it's warm without being too thick or heavy. This whole thing weighs less than 400 grams. And I really enjoyed working on it. It was super fun. Very good if you love plain stockinette. And overall, just a really enjoyable knit. So if you want to hear me talk about it a little bit more thoroughly, go over to my previous video. But yeah, this is my first finished object, my first finished sweater of the year. And I'm really happy to have it. I wear it pretty often. I've worn it at least 3 or 4 times since I finished it. So yeah, my second finished object is this. So if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that for Christmas for my parents, I bought them both hot water bottles and knit them little hot water bottle covers because I was very influenced. There was a big hot water bottle movement in the knitting YouTube world in December. Penrose Knits was knitting hot water bottle covers, Ingo was knitting hot water bottle covers, Cat Weaver was knitting them, and I was like, I think that would be a great gift for my parents. And it was, and I was like, I think I also need one of those. So I was shopping with my sister when she was here visiting me at the end of January, and I bought a hot water bottle, just like this little mini guy, secondhand. It's a little smaller than the one I got from my parents. And it had a cover on it, but it was gross. So I threw the other cover away, and then I knit this little guy for myself. So here it is. It's in this mysterious yarn that I bought secondhand at a thrift store in California when I was shopping with my mom, but it's like a woolen spun marled yarn. So I'll pull it up close again so you can see the colors. It's like a blue and a light green, kind of like a sagey green and like a sky blue marled together. It's a really pretty yarn. It's really soft. It's really thick. I'd say it's about a worsted weight. And so I just improvised the pattern for this based on my experience knitting the water bottle covers for my parents. I think I did Judy's Magic cast on at the bottom. I think I cast on 20 and then I just increased until it fit, knit up, and then decreased until it fit and knit the collar. I really enjoyed making it and I really like my little hot water bottle. It's like my new best friend and I'm really happy with it. It's worked well so far. It's got a double folded little collar. And yeah, the only thing is that it's a little bit thick, so I feel like it sometimes insulates my bottle a little bit too well. So I may knit another cover for this in a lighter weight yarn that would allow some of the heat to pass a little bit better. But overall, I'm really happy with it. It's very soft. I will say it is a little pilly. It's a woolen spun yarn, and it just, because I'm like moving it with me all over the place, and it's like getting a lot of friction being on my lap or under a blanket or under when I'm sleeping. So the yarn is kind of pilling a lot. I don't think it looks bad. And so I'm just picking the pills off as I go. But overall, it's really fun. And I love this little mini guy, and it's so cute. And I'm really happy with it. So that was my finished object number 2 for the month. I also finished my first sock of the year. This is the Cape gingham socks, and I think I showed it to you last time. I had just turned the heel maybe. So I finished the first sock. As you can see, it's knit with 2 different colors of Sundness Garn. What's it called? Oh gosh, it's the Sundness Garn sock yarn, and I need to remember what it's called. Sisu. It's knit with 2 colors of Sundness Garn Sisu. They don't have names, but there's this darker purple and this lighter purple. I'll put the numbers down below for you. I bought the yarn in Bergen, like super clearance. They were like 20 kroners a ball. And for this one sock, I use less than 50 grams. I use like probably 30 grams of the purple and like 15 grams, the dark purple, and then 15 grams of the light purple. So this is the first sock, and I'm well on my way on the second sock. I've already turned the heel, and I'm working my way down the foot on the second sock. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Again, the pattern is the Cape gingham socks, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. The pattern is originally written for sport weight yarn. So I kind of made some modifications to make it work for a fingering weight yarn. The pattern is originally knit on 2.5 millimeter needles, but you do 60 stitches for the leg. So I did 60 stitches for the ribbing, and then did 1 round of increases to get up to 70 stitches. And then I did 70 stitches for the leg, which I think is fine because this little gingham repeat is 10 stitches with like the flex and then the solid color together is 10 stitches. So it's really easy to add. I would say if you were going to make this for like a men's size, I'm like a women's 7, European 37, 38. If you were going to make this for a larger size, I would add another repeat. So make it maybe go up to 80 stitches. But yes, and then I did the heel turn a little different than the pattern. I didn't really follow the instructions. I did this kind of like modified, let me see. I did this kind of like modified eye of partridge heel. So I did slip every other, on the right side, I slipped every other stitch. On the wrong side, I just did purls. And on the right side back again, I slipped the other stitch that I had knit the previous time, if that makes sense, and then purled across. So it's a little bit of a looser eye of partridge heel. And then I just did a short row heel turn. And then on the foot is this kind of like flecked pattern. And then you carry the gingham down the top of the foot. As you can see here on the side, I was kind of trying to figure out the best way to do it. So up here, I was kind of following the pattern where you change out the color on the decrease row, and then by the end I just kind of knit it solid purple. The sock is not perfect, but I do think it's really cute, and I'm really excited to have it finished and wear it. These are a superwash sock yarn with nylon, so they're going to be super sturdy. I can wear them in my boots. Yeah, I wear boots most of the year, so these will be great for that. And then I just did a simple wedge toe with a Kitchener stitch at the end. So yes, I've just turned the heel on my second sock. I do kind of want to finish these up relatively soon. So that I can cast on some other things. I'm really trying to get through some of my whips right now so that before I cast on any new big projects. So I want to finish these socks up, and realistically I probably can finish it up in a couple of hours. But yes, so I'm making my progress. The only thing I didn't realize is that, so for the first sock, I must have knit across the foot and then did the heel flap. And for the second sock, I just started the heel flap from the beginning of round. So on this sock, because it's an odd, there's 35 stitches on the front and the back, the outside of like the heel flap starts and ends with the purple, you can see. And on this one, it's the other way around. And I didn't realize that until yesterday, that the heel flap starts and ends with the light purple. So they don't identically match, which is fine. Like, they're socks, and it's not very noticeable, and I don't think it will matter. So, because I don't want to rip this whole heel flap out. I like the fit of a heel flap and gusset, but I hate knitting it, so I don't want to rip it out. I don't want to have to re-pick up all my stitches and everything. So I'm just going to keep going. They're handmade socks. They don't have to be identical. It's really fine. But yeah, so I'm keeping that in this is actually this is a fanny pack that I made.
I don't remember the pattern, but I sewed it. I'll link the pattern down below for you to copy. It's super nice because I wanted a nice belt bag, but you know, I have a bunch of fabric scraps and zippers are cheap, and so I just figured I would make one for myself. So I made this, and I have my like cards and cash and stuff in the front pocket, and then I just keep like my phone in the big pocket, and it's plenty big enough for my knitting project. And the lining is kind of a fun color. So I made this a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month or so ago. No, I made this back in December actually. For a trip to Disney World, and then it broke as soon as we got there, so I had to fix it afterwards. But it's a really handy little fanny pack, and now I carry it as my purse because I don't love to carry a purse. So just that's what I'm keeping it in for mobility purposes. So yeah, those are my Cape gingham socks. I'm getting there, making good progress on those. My other whip, which you should be very proud of. I'm very proud of myself for the progress I've made on this, is my half and half triangles wrap. So I remember last month I said I wanted to finish the white section for February, and I have finished the white section, and I've also finished a lot of the second color. So this is my half and half triangles wrap. It's a free pattern from Purl Soho, and I am knitting it with the Hillesvåg unspun yarn. I bought it at the Hillesvåg mill in Norway last year, and I only got like one of the cakes of each of the black and white, so it wasn't really enough to make a sweater on their own. I could have done like a striped thing, but I wasn't really sure about that, so instead I made this lovely half and half wrap, and I'm really loving the way that it looks. I really like the black and white together. This is actually the back side. I'll show you the front side. I love the black and white. I think it's super cool, very interesting. I know Inga from Knitting Traditions also just very recently made a black and white half and half wrap. I think it's super fun. And because this is garter and unspun yarn, it's like super soft and super squishy. I'm imagining I'm probably gonna end up using this as more of like a lap blanket when I'm working from home than I am as a shawl, but you can also fold it in half and wear it as a shawl. So yeah, I'm excited to have this done. I've been knitting pretty much exclusively on this for the past like week, and have been making really good progress. So I finished the white triangle like last Saturday. Today is Sunday, I think like a week ago, and then started on the black triangle on Sunday, and it's now Sunday. So I've knit like really quite a lot of this and all of this black part in the last week. And I'm almost halfway through with the black triangle. I think I've knit 144 rows, and halfway is actually, no, I am halfway. 142 rows was halfway, so I'm a little over halfway. It might seem strange that this many stitches is halfway through the triangle, but because it gets longer every time, like it's halfway through the number of stitches. So I've done more than half of the rows, but I've done just over half of the stitches. So yeah, I'm hopeful to get this done in the next week. I really wanted to have it done for February, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. But I do want to wrap this up pretty soon so I can cast on some other things, but I really love the way that it looks. It's super squishy and soft, and it's gonna be very cozy, and I think it's so fun. So yeah, I'm knitting with just one strand of this yarn. It's kind of delicate, and there's some places where I don't know that you'll be able to see, but I can see when I'm looking at it where it's like really quite thin. So I've even taken so there's a couple places where it's really thin and I'm worried that the yarn is gonna break, where I'll just take a piece of this, the black yarn or whatever the yarn, I've done it on the white side as well, on a darning needle, and just kind of like retraced the stitches to give it a little bit more structure. And I definitely will need to do that once I finish, just to make sure that it's not gonna fall apart on me. I did the smaller size of the half and half wrap. So there's a large and a larger size. The smaller size is 190 stitches. I ended up doing 200, but because I was worried I wasn't gonna have enough yarn, I actually have quite a bit of yarn left over, which I'm kind of annoyed about because I'm not sure what I'm gonna use it for, but I don't know that I would have had enough to do the full 260 stitches of the larger size. So I'm happy with it right now. It's very cute, very soft and squishy, and I'm ready to have it done so that I can wear it. So yes, that's my half and half wrap. I've made great progress on it. I'm very proud of myself. There's actually this function on Ravelry. So I use Ravelry pretty religiously for like keeping track of my projects, my progress, keeping like a queue of things I want to knit next, favorites. I use Ravelry quite a lot. And there's a function on Ravelry that I really like, is that you can update your progress on your project page. And I've been updating my progress pretty religiously on this just because it helps me stay motivated. If you go to the bottom of the Ravelry project like page, if you're on mobile or if you're on the computer, it's kind of like under the yarn information or on the bottom right hand side. You can see like when you originally queued the pattern, when you started the pattern, and then all the progress updates that you've made. So you can see in this kind of like calendar format when you marked off different project milestones. So you can see I started this in November. I made some good progress. I made a little bit of progress in December. Wait, did I start this? Yeah, I made a little progress in December, a little more in January, and then this is all my progress in February. So where we've gone from 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, like I have been working on this pretty religiously in the past couple weeks. So I just think that's another cool feature of Ravelry that I forget about, but is there for you. If you're willing, like if you use Ravelry and you update it frequently, it's cool to see like how your progress is over time. Okay, that's my only other whip. I do still have my anemone sweater. I picked it up to put the sleeves, to start working on the sleeves, and I got a couple rows in and just wasn't really feeling it. So that's kind of sleeping right now. I probably won't work on it again for a little while. I'm not feeling super motivated by it. So my anemone sweater is sleeping again, and I'm okay with that. I totally forgot to show you two of my finished objects. How could I do such a thing? I just got pulled right into whips and forgot that we were still doing finished objects. I have 2 more finished objects for February. Okay, so I want to knit more for others in 2022. I have lots of knitwear myself, I have lots of yarn to use. I want to knit more gifts. And I have a friend having a baby in just a couple weeks, and then my sister is having a baby in May. So I made some baby knits this year. The first one I made for my friend's little baby is these cute little overalls. This is a free pattern from Sirdar. I'm not sure that it has a name, but I will leave the pattern linked below for you. And they're very cute. I made this with just kind of a stash yarn that I have. It's like a green wool acrylic blend. And I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this because of the light, but it's kind of got, you knit it from the bottom up in pieces and then seam everything. So you knit the legs, and then it has this kind of broken rib pattern on the top, and then cute little straps and buttons. The pattern also has a pocket on the front, but I didn't really want to do that. So yeah. And this is the first real project that I've done a lot of seaming on. And I will just say that it takes a long time. And there were some places where it got, I mean, I feel like my mattress stitch actually looks pretty good. Like it's not very visible. Even if you pull on the fabric, like it looks pretty good. But there were some places, because this is knit in pieces, like the front and the back didn't match up quite properly, and I've kind of had to like ease them together to get it to match. So it's not perfect, but it is super cute. And I think now that I've shown this to you guys, I'm gonna take it over and drop these off for her fairly soon. But yeah, I just thought these were really cute. I knit these up super quick, like in a weekend. And they're so darling. I think they're just the cutest. These are the smallest size, like the newborn size. I figured since her little boy is gonna be born in March, something a little bit warmer would be good here where we live. And then the pattern in it for my sister, I think is so cute. These are the, oh, let me find the name of the pattern for you. These are the Spring Blossom Baby Shorts by Sandra Magalhães. She's a Portuguese designer. I'm really sorry that I don't know Portuguese pronunciation very well, but she has tons of really, really cute baby patterns. And these are the Spring Blossom shorts, and I just think they are the most adorable thing I've ever made in my entire life. They're so cute. And these are made with the bamboo yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's the Yarn Bee Bambootiful. It's like a cotton and then rayon from bamboo blend, and it's a really nice drapey kind of silky yarn. It's really nice. I would definitely knit myself a summer top in this yarn because it's so pretty. It's got like a nice sheen and a nice slip to it, but it's washable in the machine. Still natural fibers. My sister lives in Texas, so her little baby will be born in the warmer months. It's gonna be hot. I believe I knit this in the 1 to 3 month size, and they look a little bit big, but again, she lives in Texas, so it'll be hot for a long time and she should have plenty of time to wear this. I really liked this pattern. You do the little legs first on the lace, and then you join in the round and do, you can see it better back on the back, the decreases up to the waistband. You can do some short rows in here, which I added, and then you knit the little waistband, and it does give you a couple waistband options. So you can do fold it over with just an I-cord like I did. You can put an elastic in there. You could do it ribbed. So there's lots of options in here, and I just think they're so cute. I can't wait to give them to her and for my little niece to wear them. I just think they're the most adorable thing ever. And there are a lot of sizes in this pattern. I think it goes up to like a kid's 4 to 5 years or something. So lots of sizes. This took less than 50 grams, up to like just about 50. No, it's a 113 gram ball of yarn, and I think it took about 60 grams. So I still have quite a lot of it left. I believe this is the color linen. And I just think they are so darling. So cute. And again, this was a super quick project. I knit these up in a weekend as well, like 48 hours or something, super quick. So cute. I'm really happy with them. Yeah, they're so darling. And I'm just really enjoying working on baby knits recently. So yes, that is it for all my projects for the month. Now I will talk to you about some acquisitions and some plans. So in the very beginning of the month, like the 1st of February, I went up to Vancouver, BC for a work trip. And one of my favorite yarn stores in the whole world is in Vancouver. It's called Wet Coast Wools. They stock like every yarn brand that I love, including Hillesvåg unspun yarn you can buy from Wet Coast Wools. So if you are in the US and Canada and want to get your hands on the unspun Hillesvåg yarn, they do have it. And when I was there a few weeks ago, they had like all the different colors, quite a few cakes. So unless someone else has sold them out recently, it is available. But I love that store. So I went in there. I had some extra time in one of the afternoons that I was there for work. And so I went in and just, there were so many beautiful things, but I don't need to be buying yarn. So this is all that I got. I just got one 50 gram ball of the Holst Super Soft in the color Truffle, which is beautiful. I've really been wanting to try Holst Super Soft for quite a while now. I've heard people talk about how great it is. And I heard about this color specifically from Emily from High Fiber Knits. She made, I think, one of my favorite things, knitwear tank tops in this color. And I just think it's so gorgeous. It has a lot of dimensionality to it. There's like blues and oranges and stuff in this, but like from far away, it's kind of just a brown. So I just got one ball of this. And my plan for this is to make a Musselburgh hat, which is a pattern by Isolde Teague. It's a long tube where you like start at the top and increase and then knit, 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 and then decrease at the other end. And other people have made it in Super Soft and it looks great. But my plan is that some people will knit it. Okay, so the Musselburgh hat you can knit like in all of one color, or people will knit it like in 2 colors, so it's reversible. Which I'm worried that I won't have enough yardage to do reversible in this hat. And I do like to have a brim on my hats. So my plan is to knit the outside of the hat with this color and just knit all the way until it's gone. And then I'm gonna knit the inside of the hat, which will be kind of like on my head, in this, which is leftover yarn in my stash. This is leftover yarn from my sweater number 11 that I knit last year around this time. It's a wool Angora cashmere nylon blend. It's an unraveled sweater that I then have reused, and it's kind of a similar like light fingering weight. So I'm gonna use this on the outside and then this on the inside, and hopefully I'll have enough of this so that I can knit the whole thing long and fold the brim up, and it will still be the brown on the brim, but then on the inside when it's actually touching my head, it will be this really soft, squishy yarn. So that is my plan for this. I think it's gonna be amazing. And I really want to cast it on, but I need to finish either my half and half wrap or my socks beforehand because I'm trying to manage my whips and keep it down. I don't want to have too many whips. It stresses me out. So I'm hoping that I can finish those soon and then I can cast this on because I will need, at some point I'm not going to want to wear a hat anymore in the next few months. Probably where I live, you can wear a hat until like April or May. So that's my plan for this. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to try the Holst garn for the first time. Holst always has a really great Black Friday sale, and I almost bought a couple of cones at the Black Friday sale last year, and I decided not to. I'm gonna try the yarn first, and then maybe if I love it and knit through some more of my stash this year, I can buy myself a super soft cone in their Black Friday sale this year. But I'm excited to try Holst for the first time because I've heard lovely, great things about it. So that's my plan for the Musselburgh hat from Isolde Teague with the Holst Super Soft. Okay, my next knitting plan / acquisition, I signed up for a test knit for Icy of Orsa Knits. She put out a call for test for a really beautiful scarf called the Victoria scarf. And it's kind of like I would say it's like a mini shawl. It's like a long triangle shawl, but it's not like wrap around your neck a few times. It's like keep it on your back, almost like a mix between a shawl and a kerchief. And it's really beautiful. It has these elongated cables on it. I'm really excited to knit it up. She chose me for a test knit. I'm really excited. And I was trying to decide what yarn I wanted to use for it. I was thinking about what I have in my stash. I was thinking maybe I could order something. I don't need to order something. And then I was out with some friends yesterday. We went to an estate sale in the morning. We stopped at the thrift store, and at the thrift store, they had yarn cones. They had quite a few yarn cones. So I walked away with 2 yarn cones, one of which I'm going to use for this test knit. So this is the first one, which is, as you'll see, not on a cone. It's a navy blue, which is looking black in this light, but it is a navy blue. I don't know. I may have to put a cutaway so you can see, but it's like a really deep, rich navy blue. And it was originally on this cone, but I pulled it off the cone to wash it because I wasn't sure. It was kind of, it's old. It smells like old wool. And it had some like stuff on it, and I just wanted to make sure there weren't any bugs in it or anything. So I pulled it off the cone, washed it, and then I've put it back into this giant cake. And it doesn't have, the cone doesn't have a brand on it. And I'm not sure you're gonna be able to read this, but it says 4-ply, 100% lamb's wool, navy blue. 32 ounces, 100% wool in oil on cone. 32 ounces is a lot more than was on this cone. So a 100 gram ball of yarn is 3.5 ounces, which means this cone was originally like close to 1,000 grams. I got it and I have about 250 grams of this, which I measured out. So when I took it off the cone, I put it onto my Swift to wind it into like a big loop so that I could wash it and hang it to dry and everything. And when I do that, I generally expand my Swift and then I'll measure around it until it's 150 centimeters. So then I loop, and I do this when I'm unraveling sweaters as well, just to tell, kind of like estimate how much yardage I have. I'll wind the yarn all the way onto the cone, and then I'll count how many times I wrapped it around and then times that by 150. So I wrapped this around like 600 times. I think 604 wraps is how many I got. So if you times that by 1.5, it's over 900 yards of yarn, or 900 meters of this kind of fingering weight yarn. So I think I'm going to end up having to hold it double for this test knit, but that will still leave me with like over 500 yards of fingering weight yarn, which I think I will use to make a summer top. There are a few summer top designs I'm really interested in, which I can talk about in a later episode. I think I'll go into that in a few more months. I'm going to knit this first, but I'm really excited to knit it, knit with it. It's like a very dry yarn. It almost feels like cotton, but the cone says 100% wool and I trust it. So I'm excited to knit. This is Victoria. Is it Victoria? Is that what I said? Yes, I'm excited to knit the Victoria scarf with this. And then I was also at the same thrift store. They had this cone, which says Superwash 4-ply. The color is 8 fawn, the dye lot, and it doesn't have a brand or anything on it. But I weighed this and I have over 400 grams of this. So this is another fingering weight superwash yarn, and I thought this would actually be really great for more baby knits. So if it's a baby blanket or some of petite knits. Oh, there's definitely. I don't know if you can see that. There's like some white stuff at the bottom of this that looks like it could be eggs from moths. I put this in the freezer as soon as I brought it home. But I will probably wind this off the cone to wash it as well, just to make sure. I do not want this. I have not put this in my stash near my other yarn because I do not want bugs in my stash. But anyway, that was a tangent. I think this would be great for baby knits. I could also use it for me, but I just thought it was so cute. And also, this was priced at $5.99 a cone, but green tags were half off at the Salvation Army yesterday, so this was $3. Each of these cones was $3. This is a sweater's quantity of yarn for $3. This is why I love buying secondhand yarn. It's the best. It's one of a kind. It's so cheap. It's sustainable. It's amazing. So yes, and then one more thing I bought, just because I have no self-control, there were 2 balls of Alaphos Lopi, which if you know me, you know I love Lopi. And I've knit with Let Lopi, but I've never knit with Alaphos Lopi, which is just the same yarn, but a little chunkier. So I got them. They were $4, $4.99 for both, so $2.50 each. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. Maybe make a hat. So yeah, that is it for my acquisitions and a little bit of planning. And then I want to talk you through a couple more plans because, oh wait, one more thing. I think I forgot to show you these last month. but my sister-in-law bought these stitch markers for me for my birthday, and I wanted to show them to you guys. They're by Sunrise Grove Knittery, and they're these really pretty laser cut wood stitch markers or progress keepers. These are like little hobbit doors, so cute. And then these are just like Celtic knots. And she sent a couple, the seller, my sister-in-law bought these on Etsy, but the seller sent me also a couple extras. I have one with like the state of Washington on it that I used on a project already. So those are really cute. And I think I just forgot to show them to you last month. So I wanted to show you them today. So thank you, Mattia, for those. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk to you about is a little bit of spring knitting plans, because over the past month, I've just been feeling, my mental health has not been great, and it hasn't really made me want to knit, which that's how you know it's bad. If you don't want to knit, that's how you know the depression is really doing the depression things. But so I've been thinking a lot about what I want to be knitting, what will make me feel excited to be knitting. So I'm excited to knit this little shawl, a Victoria shawl, and then there's a couple other things that I'm planning to make. So the first thing I'm planning to do is use this giant cone of Angora wool that I bought in December in California, and I'm going to use this to make the Mia sweater. I've been kind of umming and ahhing about what to use it for, but I really love the design of the Mia sweater. I think I would wear it a lot, and I think it would be really well suited to this yarn, and this is just like the perfect spring color. I'm not sure if it's my color, but I really like it, and I'm excited to knit with it, and it's going to make a most delightful sweater. And then the other thing that I really want to use is this yarn. So this is African Expressions Hope, which is a mohair and polyamide blend. This is a South African brand. It's an 80% mohair, 80% mohair, 20% polyamide yarn. And I have 8 balls of this that I bought like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. I finished it after my first year. I bought it after my first year of grad school. From a online store in the US that was closing, so I can no longer buy this yarn. It's kind of not very easy to access. There aren't a lot of places outside of South Africa that stock it. But I have 8 balls of it in this really beautiful green color, and I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with it. I was thinking I would do the Rubus blouse square neck, which is a square neck top, long sleeves from Refined Knitwear. And then I was like unsure about that, so I asked for some recommendations on Instagram of people's favorite mohair only tops, because I want to hold 2 strands of this together, and that's it. And I got great recommendations, but I was still thinking at the end of like looking through everyone's recommendations and looking through Ravelry, I just still felt to myself like the Rubus blouse would be best fit for my wardrobe. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And I'm really excited. So I will put the recommendations that people gave me down below, and I'll also share them on my Instagram if you're interested in other mohair only patterns. But my plan is to make the Rubus blouse from Refined Knitwear with this. So those are my 2 upcoming sweater plans and a hat plan. So that's what I've got planned out for now. I also probably want to make some socks, more gifts. You never know. Something always comes up that I'm more excited about and have to cast on immediately. But I'm going to try and keep my whips down a little bit to a manageable number going forward. So yes, that's my February update. I feel like it was a lot. It was a lot of like little projects, and it was a lot of these little projects, and then a lot of knitting on not so little projects. Lots and lots of knitting on my half and half wrap. And actually, the more that I'm knitting on it, the more I'm enjoying it. I might slowly becoming the kind of person that enjoys mindless stockinette. Don't hold me to it, but between this sweater and this sweater, there will be a lot of stockinette in my future. So I'm going to continue on my journey to enjoy mindless stockinette a little more. And yeah, that is it for me for this month. So next month you should see some new finished objects. Well, hopefully that next month, hopefully my half and half wrap will be done. I can start on some of these other projects, and I'm excited to update you on those. So that is it for me today. I do not need to ramble anymore. I will leave you to get on with your day, but thank you all so much for watching. It was really lovely to have you here. I always enjoy having you here. So having people to listen to me talk about my knitting for hours is amazing. I'm so glad that we have this little community here. I really enjoy sharing my projects in progress with you guys, and hope that you enjoy watching. If you have any recommendations for videos you'd like to see, please leave that in a comment down below. But with that, I will let you be. So thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon.